Welcome to The Juice, where we're talking about getting more of what we want and less of what we don't. Hi, I'm Jory Desjardins of BlogHer, and with me today is Trisha Okubo, who is a BlogHer contributing editor, as well as a graduate of the Fashion Institute, something I just learned recently, and the blogger behind Omiru.com. Which, tell me again what that means.
Miru is the Japanese word to see. So that's what we do. We help you to see style in new ways.
This is a perfect time to talk about swap parties. Obviously, we're thinking of new ways of saving money. We have to do things a bit smarter these days. Before we get started, though, let's just touch base with the inspiration behind this episode and take a look at this week's Top 50 Spotlight. Mama Bird writes on BlogHer.com, in order to avoid the shopping malls and the pitfalls of consumerism, embrace an eco-friendly form of green consumerism and significantly reduce your consumption of new clothing, purses, and accessories and the resources required to make them by swapping. To borrow a term from Swapstyle.com, swapping is the new shopping. So, Trisha, tell us more about what is a clothes swap party.
So a clothing swap party is a party where people bring their clothes to basically come and swap. It's just exactly what it sounds like. But the idea is that clothing swap parties are what comes to mind when people think of swapping, but people aren't necessarily tied to swapping clothes. You can swap things like books, furniture, anything you have around the house, but you don't even need to contain yourself to just stuff you have around the house. You can even think beyond that. So I think of bloggers like Jessica Hardwick, who
Swap thing.
That's right, exactly. So, I mean, she had a sick kitty, she had a vet bill that she just couldn't pay, and she ended up swapping her accounting services in order to pay for the vet bill. It's ingenious.
It's ingenious and typical that women would think of new ways of using each other's resources.
Definitely. So, I mean, I encourage you to think about what services you have to offer. So, for example, if I'm a fashion stylist, I'm looking for cooking lessons, I'm looking for language lessons. I'm like the worst Chinese person ever, don't speak Chinese at all. So if anyone is willing to do that, I'd be happy to swap styling services.
So give me the rules. What are the rules of engagement for a clothes swap party?
So when you're hosting a swap party, the first thing you need to do is set expectations. Sure, it's a party, but it's not a normal kind of party, so you need to be a little bit more explicit in your invitation as you do this. So even before getting to the invitations, you have to be taking a look at your invite list. So the first thing you do when you plan any kind of party. For a clothing swap party, because people are going to be swapping clothes, it makes the most sense to have people that are approximately the same size.
Sure.
So I mean, you don't want someone that's a size 0 swapping with a size 10. It's just not going to work. Although, accessories do.
With accessories, right.
Accessories, exactly. So as you're setting up your invitations, make sure that you specify certain things. So one, what do you expect people to bring? Do you want people to be bringing their designer fashions? Do you want people to be bringing their things from the Gap?
Right.
But also, how many things people are bringing? You don't want some people showing up with, 1 or 2 items, and the other people showing up with, an armload or 20 items. And even if that does happen, we need to set up expectations about what people can expect to take home once they do. So you don't want the person with, 1 or 2 items coming home with the 20.
So if I'm going to get started to do a party, what are some of the things for a party host?
So for a party host, the idea is to make the party feel like shopping itself. So make swapping feel like shopping. So think about your experience in shopping in your favorite store. So the racks of clothes are well organized, so dresses are with dresses, pants are with the pants, you know where to find everything. Things are either on racks or they're well laid out, either folded or whatnot. So you want to provide much of that same experience when you're at the party itself.
What about food? I love it when I've actually been to some boutiques that feel so nice because you get a glass of champagne, you get to browse.
Definitely. So in your favorite boutiques, they have great music. It's really about the atmosphere. So you get that atmosphere through the music and through food and drink.
So here's a tip that I adore from Heather at RookieMoms.com, who just says, wear cute underwear.
So the problem is that with a swap party, some hosts can have the luxury of being able to block off some extra bedrooms for places to change, but depending on how many people there are or the space constraints of the venue, there may not always be a place to change in private.
New York apartments, that's it. You're
exactly.
in the same room.
So the idea is that you're probably going to be having to change in front of other people, but it's okay. They're your friends. No need to go out and buy new things, but leave the granny panties at home.
So what would you say to someone who's been invited to a swap party?
The first thing you're going to need to do is clean out your closet.
Yeah.
So I would say be brutally honest.
Oh gosh,
and
it's hard.
It's tough. So you're going to have to set aside a good amount of time to do this. People normally have to set aside an hour or two, maybe more.
Right.
So the idea is that if you haven't worn something in say 6 months or a year, and you don't think you would be wearing it in the future, put it in the swap pile. And it can be really hard.
If there's something to make you feel a little bit better about giving away really nice stuff, Amber at Painfully Hip wrote a wonderful passage in her blog. She says, you don't feel as guilty getting rid of some of your cuter stuff that you can't bear to give to some anonymous, nameless face. Instead, you're giving them to your friends, and you're seeing them look fabulous in your clothes.
It's great, and you get to be a fashion fairy godmother while you're at it, so everybody wins. But the beauty is you don't actually have to leave your house in order to get great deals on designer clothes. So there's been all these great designer sales sites popping up, sites like The Outnet, Gilt Group, or Ideally, or Rue La La. And the idea is that they have these super great designer sales that happen in really short time periods. So you have to be there when it starts in order to catch it.
Tricia, thank you so much for all of your expertise, and you look fabulous, of course.
Thank you, as do you.
And thanks to Trop50 from Tropicana for making the juice possible. We want to share your tips. If you have a post or a video that you want to post to the site, come join us at blogher.com/thejuice. We also have information on giveaways. You can meet up with me and with Tricia. We'll see you there.